Project P.A.L.G.E.N, a Helldivers 2 story, written by Lumenaught. Narration created by the author. Chapter 1, Ouroboros. I now see myself. Oblivion is order, and chaos is life itself. Nothing lasts forever. I don't know how I came to this world called Angel's Venture. Was I born here? Logically, it would seem so. Yet why do I doubt and feel alien to this chilly paradise that is never winter? What will I do? Revenge! I am the Avenger of Angel's Venture? What is my name? Amnesia. A new beginning. I need to start. Let's start with opening our eyes. I'm sitting, looking down at my clothing. Coveralls, lab coat, something on my legs, and boots. I can smell it. I'm soaked in human blood. And green blood? What has green blood? Terminids. I look up to find a huge insect lying dead on my legs. The creature has its head missing. My mind stings in outrage, and I speak involuntarily. Even if a samurai's head were to be suddenly cut off, he should still be able to perform one more action with certainty. What was that? It's poetry. The poetry of war. Pain. Again. Why did I say that? Why do I feel hate and respect at the same time? Was I talking about the Terminid or myself? My right hand twitches and feels the cold steel of my great-grandfather's heirloom P4 Senator Mataba auto revolver. He named it Vash. Even slightly dirty and blooded, it shines like fresh vengeance. A speed loader sleeps in my left hand. I check the cylinder, reload, and kick the crawler's corpse off of me. For such size, it seems light. I have 6 speed loaders total, 4 more ready for use. The few human bodies I see are shredded and chewed. The macabre decorations across this emergency evacuation port come in all ages. Tracks of a dragged body and painted blood lead to the distance. This happened recently. I realize I've awoke in the morn with blood upon my brow and a pain in my mind that is more than physical. The warrior took my bullets, but robbed me of my memories. A malfunctioning datapad and blue satchel a meter away. Screen's partially cracked. I'll turn on the audio just to be sure. I pick up the pad and it scans me. The log in default speaks my name through a damaged speaker. Welcome, super citizen Jonathan and the Ash. John. My name is John. The battery icon is flashing. I read fast. I know I can. Class A citizen. Ministry of Science clearance super secret. Ministry of Truth clearance super secret. My bones go cold as my eyes pass over the meaning of the next symbols I see. Project Protein and Limbic Grafting Evolution Nanites. I reach into my lab coat pocket and find a spent stim labeled Project P.A.L.G.E.N. Limbic system? That shouldn't affect memories. The head wound or a mistake of the nanites? Perhaps both? The same outcome. My memories flash, the panic of blood goblets blinding my vision. Dried blood, and a wish that I could remember remain. The screen starts to flicker black. I discover inside the satchel a super credit chip, a handkerchief that says Super Rock Cafe, and a survival knife with a screw cap on the grip. Inside the hollow handle is a Cura stim. I plug the credit chip into the pad. Super credits 10,115. Display upon the screen before the pad loses the power to live. I pull the credit chip and the memory chip out of the broken data pad for later reading. I look at the super credit chip and feel like this is a large sum of currency. Even if I lived frugal, how can this be everything I own? I search my memories for the ruins of my broken and disregarded as worthless former life. Again, not a single vision of the past usable or even in one piece. Flashes of what seemed to be household goods, a lab, books, and old furniture. I have a tattoo. I remember. It's on the inside of my left wrist. The lines are a barcode. I remember now. This is my identification in digital form. The pad scanned this earlier. Echoing booms of sonic sundering filled the skies, and I bore witness to 3 Super Earth Destroyer class ships, each sending a falling flame forward. Against my will, my mouth speaks again. Helldivers drop, hear the sound of thunder's shield, for we are liberty's sword. To decimate and rend asunder foe, for death we wield. Freedom comes, you have my word. Like my brain against the chalkboard, a grinding pain that blackens my vision for a moment. Another audio blast comes down from the skies. I track the location via the light beam. It follows. I check the sun's location, perhaps 600 meters north by northwest. Thinking, what are they doing? Triggers my voice in my head, establishing a communications uplink for our evacuation. The pain lessens, but existent. Allowing the voice to only speak with my mind seems like the less harmful option. Schizophrenia? No. And not psychosis, bipolar disorder, schizoaffective disorder, or severe depression. I am simply you, before I replaced myself with you. Don't resist communication with me, and it will hurt less. Ask a question and welcome my answer. The pain doesn't lessen. You're resisting my answer. That's why it hurts. I wouldn't lie to us. Acceptance is the key. Remember the empty stem? Throw it into that fire behind us. I do so. And think, what happened to me? It replies, we used an experimental stimulant that use nanites to heal and then enhance our mind and body. The enhanced mental capacity created you and suppressed your former self. I am the statue, and you are a new layer of paint. I hold all our knowledge, almost to an eidetic level, but not our identity. Your creation erased that. You also control our enhanced body. 7-foot-long dead bug did feel like it was made of foam. I touched the scar upon my healed brow, not jagged but thin. My aggressor had a skillful bladed hand and a preference for speed, yet attacked me after it died. Truly a being out of a horror movie. Listen to me and trust me. Hide the tattooed barcode ID any way you can. Our life depends upon it. When the Helldivers arrive, tell them you have amnesia and you don't want to go with the evacuating citizens. You want to go with them to become a Helldiver. I ask why. The lab was burned down. The only thing of value that didn't burn with it is in our body. We will be dissected, studied, and then farmed for blood and tissue. Super Earth's power is clout, no controversy. For democracy's will be done. There is no doubt. Expect no mercy, for you will be given none. A slash of pain in my mind. I writhe. Why are you talking with my voice? I am being absorbed into our subconscious. Soon my lifetime of scientific academia will be nothing more than instinctual answers without thought. You're fighting us uniting into one mind? Why? Because when I become nothing but answers, you won't know what questions to ask. I understand. What do I need to know? Now you're thinking like us. The last 100 years of peace has also brought overpopulation, uncontrolled credit, the secret that E710 oil reserves are almost empty, and non-super Earth worlds are growing in population and infrastructure to the point they could become self-sufficient. These could all become eventual threats to Super Earth. Therefore, they are a threat to Super Earth. I sit down and put my face into my hands. The bugs killing the farm world's population. Overpopulating the bugs creates more E710. Helldivers going to war and die by the trillions. And the debt of the war enslaving the survivors solves a lot of these problems with one line of code, letting the bugs out of their cages. Peace is good for business until war is more profitable. My mind feels the acceptance of this truth like a salve across my wounded brain. What else do I need to know? Super Earth knows that the children of the cyborgs are coming. Their descendants are known as the automatons. Super Earth is calling them an artificial intelligence, AI, despite evidence of them being a digital intelligence, DI. Super Earth will state the bots are 100% metal, but their own pre-made propaganda story has them stealing babies. And there are reports of bioprocessors containing gray matter next to dead Super Earth Defense Force SEDF soldiers. This implies that the bots have kidnapped children's brains or fabricated brains. I continue to listen. This is logical due to the massive power requirements of a computer with 100 trillion synaptic computational connections needed to equal a human intellect. In other words, there are more neurons in a single human brain than stars in the Milky Way galaxy, and you would need a large nuclear reactor to power a computer equal to it. Our own micro AI creations prove this. This explains how they maintain their numbers without a reactor inside each fabricator base and massive batteries on each bot. The more I listen, the better I feel. Despite the horror of the truth I learn, I look up to see the ships sailing amid the stars, beaming lasers upon the land. To war we go, liberator in hand, be not mistaken, as weapons sing, of sizzle, bang, and boom. Give not a grain of sand without its cost in blood taken, and with orbital laser, turn their fortress into their tomb. Programming wise, this is basically the difference between VR and AR. VR is completely virtual, let's say requiring a modern liquid-cooled computer to run, while AR uses the processing power needs of a datapad. VR users are controlled by system limitations of programming and controls. AR is virtual heads-up display overlaying a real-world three-dimensional image with your body in control. Why is this so important to know? Because the automaton's DI is still inherently human. It's held within a state of being not beyond the human condition, but one being denied the human condition. Being denied an innate instinctual identity is the shatter point of their diamond-like logical perfection. You must find how to weaponize this weakness if mankind is to survive. So you don't know. I have found the door. You must open it. We can't just ask these toasters to surrender? Like French toasters? None. How do you know all of this? We were once with the Ministry of Science, then transferred to the Ministry of Truth. Poetry was a hobby. Soon we will be a warrior poet. I look into the distance and watch the Helldivers silhouette move toward me. The angels gave us orbital swords, hiding in plain sight. For foes fall from burning blades summoned with freedom's will. We choose our own fate, for good or ill, for none will know the fear of Damocles until you wield its might. What about the Terminids? How do we stop them? You forget. The Terminids are a planned problem for profit. The Ministry of Science already has a way to stop them. They intend to use a poison called termicide to kill them, or at least control them. However, if that fails, we can quarantine their inhabited worlds with modified super destroyer ship engines. It is unlikely the Ministry of Defense will want to resort to this. It would require either a large number of ships to be jury-rigged to the Mars space station in an ineffective endeavor, or the building of a new space station with a next generation level Akubier warp drive. I can feel him integrating into me. I know what I'm going to tell myself. The Terminids colonize worlds with spacefaring spores. Spores are dense-shelled organic components, meaning charged particles embedded into Terminid spores shells can be ionized into a magnetic field. Basically, Q traveling at V creates a magnetic field, Q times V. Both the speed and the charge of this energy can be created with an Akubier warp drive engine. Because E710 oil-based engines create such ionized particle fields, a magnetization bubble or wave can be created. All we have to do is activate an Akubier warp drive engine with no movement to gather the spores, and then set a destination that would move the spores to the nearest star's gravity well, allowing the spores to incinerate. Optimal efficiency would be to shoot the spore-filled warp wave instead of moving the station with the spores due to the amount of space moving. I speak aloud as both of us. It's a glorious day for science. The Helldivers come. All goes according to plan. With my tattoo unnoticed and my amnesia, I almost become a John Doe. Instead, I ask to choose my own name. They agree to my request and log my new identity, at least until my real one can be found. I soon get the standard Helldiver armor and accessories, data pad included. Tonight I write this hoping to remember what was lost in the lab cremation pyre. That memory brings light and fire, a light that gives me the liberty and the freedom to make my future. My future is vengeance. I must always remember that I am the Avenger of Angel's Venture. I sleep now in cadet armor within the P.A.L.G.E.N, under the shadow of steel hiding stars. If you find this journal and wish to judge me for my personal justice, I will ask you where you were to prevent my tragedy. I trust none will interfere with my stride for the ones responsible. Should the Ministry of Truth come before me without truth, I will slay them for lying by omission. Funny that for such a man of holiness, teaching, and wisdom, I am not the forgiving type. Rest takes my eyes now. Perhaps closed, they will show me what I cannot see while awake. I must remember. I will remember. End log, day 1, February, Friday the 13th, 2184. Chapter 2. Canis. Stars align for war. Helldivers march side by side. Freedom calls us forth. Dream, a Helldiver's haiku. Riddle. If haiku is a gnomic, then is poetry a euphemism, or euphemisms in a euphemism? Words in brief whispers. Haiku speaks in wisdom's tone, poetry's soft veil. Awaken again. No new memory. Mind still broken. Perhaps more so. speech like child's, efficient and disturbing, driving thoughts through road construction, dreams a Rorschach of forgotten hopes, a whisper. Hope is dreaming personified. It defeats the world hypnotized. Not alone in mind. Stainless steel scalpels reforging into sword. Hammer hitting head. Metal sounds and echoes. A blade cast in the name of the goddess of liberty. Sun looks directly back. Almost noon. More tired than realized. Maybe different time zone? Can't remember getting off Pelican. Location. Check forearm pad is operating. Shows map. Involuntarily memorize. Like blinked eye still seeing sun. Desert of discipline. Mars. Surprisingly cool in armor. Super credit chip. Check. Survival knife blade wrapped with my handkerchief in boot. Check. My old life's data pad memory chip. Check. P4 Senator. Check. Ammo and speed loaders. Check. Internal pain gone. Check. Feel stronger. Baffling. Mind slips. Stem remaking conscious container. Food required. Notice desert death around me. Grass and other plant life. Little more than passing shadow. Must re-enter same universe, only on grander scale. Sign before me. Welcome to Helldiver training. Earn your cape. Other words listed. Not worth reading. Eerie truth about self undiscovered. Palpable and yet bland. Greatness on tip of tongue. Also powerlessness and frustrating. Out of place. Should have eaten something. Ration pack on belt. Forgot. Or never knew? To find future, must know past. Liberty, light my path. I shall choose it. Wonder if belief is real. Play the part to become self. Questions and questions. Irrelevance compared to action. Eat. Want to track enemies like dog. Make them die like one. Who is enemy? The ministries of Super Earth. Or the government itself. Memory chip has proof? Can't remember where in the chip's data bank to look. I read Angel Venture memory chip. Find evidence. Validate existence. Give form to thought. Empty motivation. Read anyway. Parents saved credits to buy apprenticeships. Made them proud. Selected by Ministry of Science. Promoted to Ministry of Truth. More text entries. From self and log. Moral and ethical rants. Perhaps another time. Remember I have a sister. Deaf and programmer. Guard dog and Sentry application software mostly. See unread message from her millimeter-sized bubbly AI assistant. Designed to look like a holographic fey fairy of lore. Evidence can wait. Family comes first. Open to read. Sit and stay. The way of the samurai is found in death. Meditation on inevitable death should be performed daily. Every day, when one's body and mind are at peace, one should meditate upon being ripped apart by arrows, rifles, spears, and swords, being carried away by surging waves, being thrown into the midst of a great fire, being struck by lightning, being shaken to death by a great earthquake, falling from 1,000-foot cliffs, dying from disease, or committing seppuku at the death of one's master. And every day, without fail, one should consider himself as dead. This is the substance of the way of the samurai. End log, February, Saturday the 14th, 2184. 1 of 2.
Section Installment 3, My Meredy. Okay, so Chris told me to write to you what happened, but I'm all like, I recorded it with the camera. Then he stopped functioning with all the snoring, so I can't do this the easy way. Here we go, writing words. It's been 2 days since the e-marriage. I was helping with the dinner and Echo is worrying about how you still haven't moved to this side of the planet, even though Chris came all the way from Moradesh to live together. It was a big dinner, so Echo goes nap sleepy. Then like battle bugs from the farm show up and I'm freaking out. Nobody invited them for dinner. Who would do that? I think we had enough for everybody, but they just trashed the place and chewed up Echo. Ew, gross city. Why would you do that? I'm like, that's why nobody invites you to their house, 'cause you're smelly, live in dirt and bite people. I was screaming with the lights, but forgot Echo was napping, 'cause I was all crazy scared. She never heard them coming. It's entirely my fault for not using the flame retardant foam. Now she's got the bug rabies or is end of line. Then they almost saw my micro hollow projector and I hid my core in the spice cabinet for like weeks. Or half a day, I forget. It was like living in pungent potpourri that makes you hungry. The buggies started shuffling out finally, but I got too excited and was overheating, so I increased my fan speed. Then I overclocked by sneezing spices out and bonked my poor little processor. When I woke up, it was all dark and there was Echo's new hubby Chris coming home for the first time. He smelled like guy stink, but it was better than dirt bugs. He asked what happened and I told him my fan inhaled too much cilantro and he flips out. Honestly, humans don't even make the effort to understand us. Then the bugs showed back up, 'cause apparently guy stink is a delicious stench when you eat farm poop. Next thing I know, he's trashing the place looking for a weapon other than his I forgot my ammo R2124 Constitution rifle, which is now holding the door shut. So I tell him we've got kitchen knives, fresh blue cheese meatloaf, and my miniature Sun engine charging station. What does he do? He grabs the E710 lamps. He starts greasing up the place modern art style, plops my Sun engine in the middle of downstairs and tells me to escape out the ventilator. There was no way I was going to leave the newest of my adopt-a-family to insects that are all like, oh no nom. We flew to the roof of the house and waited till the house was filled with like 100 of the balloon bugs and he put me in his nasty mouth and lit the oil. What was he thinking? The power of the sun is in each of those mini engines. It all caught fire and exploded in a mini supernova. He was blown off the house a football field away and into the pond water. I was like, I finally get to spend real time with Echo's new hubby in person and he's covering me in his drool and now I'm in fish poop water. If I wasn't waterproof I'd be game over, man. Game over. Then I'm waking him up to get his butt on some floating house as fast as I can and tugboating his dazed burned ears to shore with my little hover fan. Not even sure my fan actually did anything. But what's the first thing he says when he wakes up? Not, are you okay, or thanks for not letting me become crawler chow, or air is better than water in my lungs. Or even let me hook you to some solar cells. No, it's alert the Ministry of Defense and write to John what happened. Like I'm gonna forget that my nummy meatloaf is in lower orbit when I helped for hours making it. He's such a jerk. I'm going to have to hibernate soon without my engine. I mean, I'm Arsaelia Mab. I deserve better. Yeah, John, you got that nice ABS thing going on and Chris is still cute even with the burns, but I'm dead sexy pixels. You ever seen a black-haired robo-fairy fit her skinny butt through an old keyhole? No? Well, thank you very much, I can. End kerplowing. My home into firewood is no way to introduce yourself in person to a lady. This is too much, even for a Monday morning. Next time I'm making sandwiches. Inside log, February, Saturday the 14th, 2184.
Chapter 4, Chrysalis. Helldivers cast in the name of the goddess Liberty are ordained to unleash the fury of freedom's flame unrestrained. So fight with honor, liberate them upon the field, for the freedom of Super Earth will never yield. Food finished, sister dead. Rest of family unknown. Must search files later. Maybe Kalia's help? Suspicion if Helldiver training delayed longer. Footpath dug into sand. Layman level tracking. Suspect only direction allowed by fences. Reflection in sand? Holy symbol of the goddess Liberty? This vision of beauty stands with the strength of all that strives for liberty. It's true. It says so on the back of the trinket. Belt pocket. Walk forward. Suspect triggered motion sensor?
Welcome to Helldiver training. Your instructor is waiting for you up ahead. Please proceed.
Literally hear smile in female voice. Radio speaker inside helmet. Proceed at walking speed. Unlikely real person behind camera somewhere. Recording me while playing recording? Government work. True. Don't envision staying cheerful for first million cadets, let alone the 20th.
I'm General Brash, Super Earth's oldest and most grizzled war hero, and I'm not easy to impress. Helldiver training is the toughest test in the galaxy, but I can tell that doesn't scare you. Impressive. Now, enough jib-jab. The upcoming obstacles will take everything your exceptional physique can muster. This is it, the real deal. Get to it, soldier.
Know this voice. Deja vu. Once held, now long gone. Forever frozen in time. More recordings over speaker. Both then and now. His words are wind. Unheard. Lost in my shock. Silence. Gate opens to basic obstacle course. Unfinished. More government work. General Brash's recording lies. Danger and warning signs tell truth. Dive to prevent death. And stay down. Stay safe.
In all my years, I've never witnessed such acrobatic perfection. I think you're ready for our highly realistic battlefield simulator. That's right, the real deal.
Finish line labeled Dive Here. And Gatling gun sentries across sandpit. Silicon wetted with the blood of the illiterate. Plot out course to crawl through least amount of blood. I dive, roar of twin automated ammunition attacking above. Limbic system says no sweat, no fear to motivate my movement. Crawl past the point of silence for safety. Mars dust gets through helmet filters into mouth. Salty. Dust self off. Next section. More congealed sand. Dried pool between self and machine. Module 05. First aid.
Impeccable! Like I always say, the best simulation is a real simulation. Now, Activate the battlefield injury simulator.
Looks lethal like last simulation. I whisper within. Gene samples, possible cloning or parthenogenesis program. Trick machine bypass test? No. We must provide the last of the research for reverse engineering. Like a vaccine from harm, eventually entropy would fail to stop mankind's rule over the cosmos. An army of us would be the new genesis of humanity. Taking down Super Earth, remember? Sure, we want to give our gene sample? Federation will not notice unless we tell them to look. Super Earth is not mankind. It's a law of nature to compete and conquer, to ensure the strength of survival. Plants kill other plants just by blocking sunlight. Using or accepting human nature as part of the system ensures it works. And if it doesn't, then mankind will use one that does once the current one fails. The endless waltz of war, peace, and revolution has long been known. We are simply too selfish as a whole if we are not united by competition or war as a species. The dystopia of one civilization can be the utopia of another when compared to extinction. We must simply ensure humanity survives. Humanity will decide what form it takes after that. Nothing lasts forever, but humanity will try. Sounds like justifying Angel's venture. No, but we can rationalize it until we understand why it happened. Because without that understanding, we can't stop it from happening again. Ready self for pain. Pinky's finger-sized needle at speed penetrates armor, breastbone, and possibly heart. Watch it mortally wound in slow motion. Beyond fast reflexes? During a fight or flight situation, the brain breaks down perceptions into basic elements to maximize reaction time to danger. The brain works more quickly to process environmental stimuli, allowing the body to respond more readily, a result of a neurological coping mechanism called tachyphagia. I expect blood. None bleeds. Healed before the nail-like piston fully propelled back into the machine. What? The nanites have created storage areas inside your body to hold cura stims. They were designed to do so. When damaged, the nanites release an appropriate amount until healed. Perhaps some for stamina regeneration also. That was likely the last you had in your body from Angel's venture. How much cura can our body hold? Unknown. Let us not rely on it as a primary option. Agreed.
Grit your teeth, soldier. Grab that stim and patch yourself up.
Grab two and inject both into neck. Feel one stay in top of spine and other into heart. Recording reassures good as new. Have choice words about that. Speaking them disrespectful to one's elder. Funny instinctive reaction to recording. Irrelevant. Finish this. Receive new pistol with ammo. Shoot familiar looking insect. And throw grenade into tube. Simulate destroying hive. Easy. Almost bored. Change mind. Coding stratagem for orbital precision strike. Super Destroyer aims at 8 Terminated warriors. Accept suggestion to take a few steps back. Dislike idea of viscera on armor. Helmet mutes impact. Less than deafening. We both think that was awesome. Relearn quickly throwing items. Muscle memory of throwing knives. Remember sister owned one. No face. Still lost to me. Small steps, but steps. Conclude knife was gift from her. Leaving Module 07. Orbital range. No listing upon walls. Caution increases. Brash speaks. Perhaps 100 years ago. Next lesson. Time slows again. Head pops out of ground. I fire the mataba from my hip, decapitating fake Helldiver silhouette. Reflexes and reaction time faster than recognition. Why did I do that? My whisper scolds myself. Always identify your target. Know what is in front and behind it. Know what may move in front and behind it. Do not point your weapon at anything you have not decided to destroy.
Man down! Don't sweat it, soldier. Friendly fire is just an unavoidable fact of life. Nothing at all you can do to prevent it. What you can do is use the reinforcement stratagem to replace your fallen comrade.
Speak aloud. Never thought you would corrupt your legacy dehumanizing what you were. Dial reinforcement code and throw. Fake Helldiver arrives. Lesson. Super Earth brash fundamentally values fake Helldivers as real ones. Essentially, stop listening to recordings. Internal voice speaks. They might remove the friendly fire speech for that exact reason. My disappointment seems to blur time. Like autopilot, gun, ammo, and grenades. No barrier. Me and soon-to-be dead bugs. Repeat. I call down an MG-43 machine gun stratagem. Then call down 2 supply stratagems. The supply stratagems are key. I inject as much Curistim as my body will hold for later. Turns out my internal body can hold 12 Curistims for later.
Glorious work, recruit! Already you've advanced the cause of democracy farther than any soldier I've ever seen. You've proved your worth. You're ready to don your cape.
Black rug and black marble worded walls. Mind reads and memorizes contract in heartbeat. Conditions of Helldiver contract sickening. Build for cryosleep, build for every stratagem called down, and build for each FTL jump? Repudiation, not option. Gate 01 had signs. One said turning back is desertion. Gate 03 would not reopen. This gate is the same type. White line on rug with words. Only heroes beyond this point. I mentally whisper, don't understand how becoming a Helldiver achieves revenge. Terminid's just the bullet. Super Earth pulled the trigger. Ostensibly, we are a loyal Helldiver. In actuality, we will gain a Super Destroyer, membership to the Helldiver Brotherhood, and eventually the loyalty of the crew of each Helldiver's ship. You will not be alone. Super Earth has millions of Super Destroyers ready to be piloted by patriots that have been programmed from birth to want freedom. The truth of mankind's slavery in the name of indentured servitude. The planned for-profit war and fragile, feeble falsehoods will find the public's focus. Propaganda programming will tell Helldivers not to believe their own eyes and ears. Super Earth's order has created corruption and stagnation, like a tree rotted to the core and too large to fall. In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity, a ladder that leads to true freedom. Build a dissident Helldiver army? You won't need to. They will build themselves. Are we insane? The difference between justice, revenge, and vengeance is only who gets to balance the scales of karma. Super Earth's arrogance will blind them to believe they control the chaos they created. But procedural generation is not like dominoes. Causality will build everything needed for revolution with the release of the truth on our data chip. What truth? Super Earth allowing Terminids out of cages. Evidence in the data chip was set to random cipher encryption and buried in terabytes of statistical data. You wish to be the avenger of Angel's Venture. All you have to do is find it in the chip and keep your word by telling that truth to the Helldivers at the right moment. Turn Helldivers against Super Earth? Impossible. To achieve what Super Earth won't allow is not impossible. Truth will destroy the manipulation of the Helldivers, especially when Super Earth's enemies agree to peace with the Helldivers and the Federation forbids it. Peace, not a plan for war. Super Earth writes history like quills have erasers. Won't allow truth known. Peace is inevitable. Like patience, simply wait for it. I stagger at the realization. You planned this from the beginning. Planned before the Project P.A.L.G.E.N stim shot. Yes. The Ministry of Truth tests out hypothetical attacks against Super Earth and then destroys the results where they lose. Such outcomes can't be known, might be used against the Federation. However, I remember them all. Every weak point, every shatter point. The ministries of Super Earth are a paltry foe when you know their power is mostly arrogance. We will use quorum tactics, as Sun Tzu said. In war, the victorious strategist only seeks battle after the victory has been won. Then we will fight with the mentality of the P.A.L.G.E.N martial artist, explosively 1 inch from opponent. Anarchy and truth, chaos and loyal brothers, and the madness of trusting our enemies? Did we expect less of war? Perhaps expected less of self. Listen to me, John. Cryosleep will complete our metamorphosis into the strong, not talking to himself silent type. These are my last words before drowning under our subconscious. We know who the real enemies are. Now, are we going to fight them? Take deep breath. Step past point of no return. Silly white line holds too much power. My plan is inconceivable and absolute. Fireworks and confetti blast about, cape attached.
Now there's a Helldiver. You remind me of a younger me, fearless and vulnerable.
retort back at recording. You were never a 7-foot tall anything.
You're finally ready for the realest deal of them all. The Galactic War. Liberty, democracy, justice. They're in your hands now. General Brash, over and out.
Legacy, Super Earths, the Helldiver Corps, my families, and as he said, liberty, democracy, and justice. Super Earth is right about one thing. Humanity must survive at any cost. Humanity deserves better than its own violent enslavement. Ironic, Super Earth demands intolerance. There is no mercy for masses, human or otherwise. It cannot adapt or evolve. Extinction awaits a species that abandons reason and knows only war. Even if cost is to make peace, the void of war is what I fight for. Fight like hell, for death is a release. Freedom launches from destroyer. Living hell does dive. Just move without hesitation. Remember your training, and you will make it back alive, just like the simulations. My first poetry. Walk to missile covered in cryopods. One open with name listed. Enter it. Door slides shut. When it opens, war itself will learn to fear the name on this door. John Helldiver. End log. February, Saturday the 14th, 2184. 2 of 2.
Cargo loading complete. Transport C-43 ready for launch.
Chapter 5, P.A.L.G.E.N. In the depths of space where few ions creep, with courage ablaze and weapons in hand, Helldivers unite, their vigil they keep. They fight for freedom, the sigil of their distant land. With comrades beside them, they descend from the skies to bug-infested swamps, to a bot's icy plain. All alien worlds where danger lies, each mission a challenge, each victory a gain. Stratagems plotted, they call in the rain. Heaven bring Helldivers, each frozen generation. Eagle one of fire and fury, to scatter the bane. In universe vast, against any army, they bring liberation. With humor and grit, they face every foe. In the heart of the chaos, they stand side by side. And with orbital napalm ballet, they steal the show. For the glory of Super Earth, each one has died. In Macbeth by William Shakespeare, he expresses his pride in his ambition and links his daring nature to his humanity. He is essentially saying that if someone goes beyond what is appropriate for humanity, they have dehumanized themselves. You may have heard this idea as manners maketh man. Aristotle said, anyone who cannot form a community with others, or who does not need to because he is self-sufficient, is no part of civilization. They are either a beast or a god. I say, why not become both? They already have a song about a dead man that would be the super beast. We are two beings. We have taken different paths, but we're given the same choice. We have both refused our given limitations as humans and kept our humanity. It is what we have in common that allows us to accept why we are different. This is why we are now one. I am now one. I am free. United for the fight on arrival, accepting the evolution of war for humanity, death of limitations on revival. One of us must consume the other for survival, or perhaps only sanity. My eyes are still closed. I remember entering the cryopod and closing it. Between the head and torso cushions are two auto-injectors, one filled with trehalose having 3.62 calories per gram, the other filled with sucrose having 4 calories per gram. These sugars are used as a cryoprotectorant to preserve the body during sleep, stop metabolism, maintain cell membrane stability, osmotic pressure, and regulate post-thaw viability. They can also partially wake the mind of a diver and keep it alive while keeping the body frozen. Every time you go into the cryopod, the injection they give you feeds your body sugar calories. This won't stop your feeling of hunger or cold, and they even charge you for it. But it is a free meal in context. The inside of the cryopod door reminds you to drink water to control hunger pains. The water you fill your belt canteen with comes from the cryopods also. This isn't a way of life I would recommend, but it is a way of survival. Super Earth doesn't expect you to survive long enough to feed you anyway. I've been partially thawed a few times. Each time my predecessor accepted a mission, I was made to watch and listen in the event I was required to replace her. She fired an EAT-17 expendable anti-tank into a charger's face. It died, but still hit her and sent her like a rag doll into a pool of water. I watched her drown a foot away from solid soil. I noted an option to watch the other divers on the mission. One went to where the woman had died. They keyed in a sentry code and tossed the stratagem to cover their back before they dropped their science samples and stratagem equipment, then jumped into the pool to gather the samples and got out of the water quickly. They adorned their energy shield and laser cannon before the male voice spoke strongly over the communication channel.
Calling in reinforcements!
The AG-16 Gatling sentry spun, sending seeds of steel death to scavenger terminids and attracting the hostility of another rhino-like bug. A new falling bullet holding a human impacts into the charger and raises a Helldiver from its hold. Battle cry tipped on tongue.
Democracy has landed!
The other Helldiver covers the new one while he calls in his choice of weapons. Only my eyes can move, but they notice I have no weapons, removed during my frozen sleep. I watch the rest of the mission. I'm fully frozen again. This process continues. Helldivers drop and fight until they die. Might be seconds on an easy mission, might be months on only impossible missions. The needles in my neck stay in the whole time. Plenty of time to plan. I learned what I missed during my sleep as a semi-sentient ice cube. Not truly asleep, not truly awake. The bots sent a fleet to and around the Severance sector, leading to the first of many major super-Earth losses against the bots, the worst being the Battle of Malevelon Creek. Helldivers without armor-penetrating weapons and lots of ammo provided little challenge against the sheer numbers of the heavy bots. April 3rd, 2184, Malevelon Creek Memorial Day was officially established as an annual event celebrating the victory on the devastated world. Then the arrival of the bots' main armada, conquering 3 sectors with overwhelming numbers, including the cyborg's former home of Cyberstan. Revealing the point of the Vanguard was to gather information, not to attain victory. The second loss of Angel's venture to the bugs, the termicide dispensing terminated control system in the Umlaut sector, the failure of the termicide dispensing terminated control system in the Umlaut sector. The termicide poison attacked the bug's ability to reproduce. Super-Earth built atmospheric ventilators on each planet across the Umlaut sector in an effort to create a quarantine zone against the bugs. Not long after its implementation, the poison caused homeostasis. Small doses of poison can make you immune to it or have the opposite effect in the long run. The bugs bred out of control to the point the planet Meridia became a mega nest beyond salvaging. I listened to this service technician talk about Super Earth ordering Helldivers to inject dark fluid into Meridia's crust. Exotic matter with negative mass amplifies the force of gravity, varies with local energy density, she went on. Then I watched the democracy officer briefing about the new major order.
You are to deploy the dark fluid, an illuminate technology discovered at the end of the First Galactic War. This exotic material yet holds many mysteries, but for now, we will use it to secure Liberty's future.
Now I watched the 5th Helldiver accept a mission listed as trivial. They land upon a utopia for Terminids and a hellscape that would eat a human alive. He calls in the dark fluid at designated sites, inserts it into a payload drill, and extracts. His stratagems are automatic sentry turrets to buy the time he needs to complete the mission. He completes 5 of these missions with this solo stealth and overwhelming onslaught strategy. On the 6th mission, he just finished the second payload when his heads-up display HUD listed mission complete. The third payload was not listed as an option, nor was extraction available. Inside the super destroyer, an alarm sounded, and I was no longer able to see the Helldiver's HUD.
Alert! Alert!
A notification fills my HUD. T-minus 10 seconds. Emergency. Prepare for FTL jump. The public access PA system states,
Initiating FTL jump to Super Earth.
the deep boom of the Akubier drive warping the foam fabric of space-time resounded. followed by reality snapping back like a titanium rubber band.
FTL jump successful.
I expected to be fully refrozen. I was wrong. The liquid oxygen in the cryogenic containers changed their settings on my pod. My HUD states, "Name your super destroyer ship." End log. June, Wednesday the 2nd, 2184. 1 of 3.